Hi everyone, it's Tammy with Frou-frou Studio, and welcome back to the second to the last week of the hashtag color combo challenge for this year. And stick around to the end of this video, and I'm going to tack on the end the instructions for the next challenge that we're going to be doing if you want to participate in that. And I want to thank everyone who has participated in the color combo challenge for the last year and a half. I would love to go on with the same type of deal, but to be quite honest, I have just run out of color combos and run out of things that we can do. So we're going to move on to something new, and hopefully it will be as successful and as fun as the color combo challenge has been. So today the prompts are square and navy blue, and I'm going to be working in this postal journal that I have just put together, and some of you may have seen the cover in the May journal that I posted on Facebook or Instagram, sorry, yesterday. And so it kind of fits in with the navy color to the color combo. So I'm going to do a couple layouts in here, and then I'm going to pause the video, change things up a little bit, get some things together, and then I'll explain the next challenge. So hang around to the end, and you'll see what the new thing is going to be after this one. So this is the little journal that I am making for the postal journal, and as I mentioned on Instagram, I'm using Tracy Fox's postal kit. She is Love Junk Journals on Etsy, and it is just a really cool, grungy little kit. And I have already put the pages in, the signatures in. I've got some pockets and tags in already. They're not decorated, but I have them laid out. I did several of these little strippy edge pages. I think there's 2 in each signature. It has 3 signatures, and I'm just loving the way it's coming together so far. The book cover is a very old book cover. It is a hardcover, but it's kind of a squishy hardcover, and I did have to do a little bit of reinforcement on the spine, and so I just took some bookbinding tape and put on there to kind of reinforce it. It has a floating signatures. So there's going to be lots of room for this one to grow, and the pages are going to lay nice and flat in it. So we'll get started. I'm working in the first signature here, and I want to do a little layout on this blank page. Now what I did is I printed out the kit pages on the front, and on the back they have just a faux tea dye page in different colors just on the back, so the pages would not be white. And I have gone through and inked all the pages, and so that's all ready to go. So I'm going to be working on this page, and like I said, I'm going to do a little layout on a couple of pages. So let's get started with that. What I have for this is I actually have taken a couple of scraps from Amy's Patriotic Kit because the colors goes so well with Tracy's kit, and I had some smaller scraps that were left, and so I'm going to use those to kind of build up my collage. This is from the Grungy Paper, Amy's Grungy Paper, and this is from the Patriotic. So I'm going to start with kind of building the base with those, and then we're going to put some pockets on. So, let's lay these down first. I will ink them. And I think I'm going to use Vintage Photo. So I hope everyone had a great weekend. We had a pretty non-eventful, calm weekend here. It's been raining some. It was raining harder, real hard earlier, and I think we're supposed to get some storms later today, and especially I think tomorrow and Wednesday. It's supposed to rain off and on all week, which is kind of a bummer, but it's not near as bad as what Texas and some of those areas are getting, so I'm not going to complain too much. And the weather has been really warm, so that's always good. So I'm just going to glue these down. And for those of you that have been following me on Instagram, you'll know that we adopted a new puppy. And for a puppy update, she is doing great. She is a chewer, though. She's still in that puppy stage. So we have been doing a lot of nose and trying to get some basic training done. We have to constantly watch that she doesn't have things she's not supposed to have. So we're doing the redirect kind of thing. It's kind of like having a toddler in the house again that wants to put everything in her mouth, but she'll learn. She's very smart. But she's been really good with the not having any accidents in the house or things like that. She's doing well on the leash, which is good because we can't let her out. We don't have a fenced yard, and we have about 3 acres, and so we're not comfortable enough to let her, you know, roam without the leash yet, or go out, you know, even with us being supervised without the leash yet. But I think she'll get to that point because she is following directions fairly well. The main issue that we have, like I said, is her chewing, but hopefully the, you know, whatever teeth she is getting at this point in her life will be in soon, and she will outgrow that soon. She is a year old, but she obviously has some back teeth or something coming in because she just, you know, gnaws on her toys. So, but she's a good girl. She torments our older dog, Lily, wanting to play. I mean, she's not hurting her, and Lily's not hurting, you know, trying to hurt Belle either, but Lily's older, and she gets quite frustrated with her continually trying to play, and Lily wants to nap. So we've been doing a little bit with that, but it's all, I think I want this one on the bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 pockets out of these 2 little square envelope pieces, which are in the kit. So that's 2 of my squares will be these little things mounted as a pocket. I just wanted a little something in the background. Do I want them to, I might want them to kind of overlap a little bit, kind of like that. All right, so let's glue those down. I think I'm gonna move this one over. Straight would be nice. Okay, and then maybe do this one like that. Yep. Okay, so now what I should have is a pocket here. Timmy let the glue dry first. And a pocket here. So in that, I'm going to put these 2 little tags that are also in the kit. So the 2 little tags will go down in here like this. I hope. That one may need a little cleaning up where I slid it after I glued it down. I'm looking for my little palette knife, which I don't see in here. Well, oops, stepped on her. Well, I don't know what I did with my palette knife, and I smooshed my dog in the process. Okay, let's try. See if I can get these down in there. Yeah, that's where I slid that over after I put it down. That should be wide enough. And it's not. There we go. All right, so there's my 2 little pockets with the tags in them. And then I have 2 little Tim Holtz photos from the photo booth. And I'm going to put those like that. And they're going to become little pockets like this for these little bitty tags. Kind of. They're going to slide. No, it's not even glued down. I can't even get it under there. So they're going to slide in there like that. And then I have these 2 little square stamps. So I have a square envelope, a square picture, and a square stamp. I don't want to glue that upside down. So I think that's going to cover all my squares. So let's glue these down now. And I'll try not to glue my pocket. And I'm going to put my stamps down. And these stamps are a stamp, a rubber stamp. And I just stamped them in blue archival ink, which is called Faded Jeans, I think. And then just cut them out with the little kid scissors. And I have found that if you cut with the kid scissors, which I'll show you here in a minute, and then you, I think the smaller one has to go in here. And then you kind of snip off those little ruffles that it makes. It makes them look more like stamps. For example, let me get a little scrap. Okay, so if you have these little scissors that have the little ruffle on them, and one, you want to make your cuts in one cut of the scissors, not, you know, you don't want to do this when you're cutting, because they work better if you can make your little snips in one move. Okay, so there's the edge that you get, and I hope you can see that. Well, then if you take a pair of regular scissors and you snip just the tips off, the exaggerated tips, and you're probably not going to be able to see this, but just barely nip those little exaggerated edges off. Then what, you have a more authentic looking stamp edge on here, I think, than if you leave them the full size. And I know you probably can't see that. You might be able to see it on that white edge a little bit if I'm in the right spot to show you. So that's what I do when I make the faux stamps and use those scissors. Okay, so there is that one. in my most southern accent. Now, I could, which I think I will, I'm going to take my little pokey tool and poke a hole in that. Just because it has a place for a hole. And you could put some string in there as well. Actually, my little hole punch might be good for that. My teeny tiny one, if I can reach it. See if I can get it in the right spot. It's not in the right spot exactly. But I can fix that, I think, because, or maybe it is. Maybe there's just a lighter spot there. But I think I have there. That looks better. So then that one can go back in there. And then let's try to do this one. This one actually looks like it has like a little brad in there. That's another possibility if you have some of those little tiny, tiny brads. And I may decide that I want to put some string in there later, but it would have to be some really small, almost like a embroidery thread or something in order to be the right thickness for the hole that's there. Okay, so there's one. Now let's do the other one in the next signature. So this one I'm going to actually, instead of putting it here, I'm going to put it on this lighter color page so that we still have a full writing page here, I think. It is the same spot in the second signature, like the same page, but I'm going to put it on this side. And by doing that, it also kind of keeps everything from being on one side in the journal. So what I did for this one is I cut 2 squares out of Amy's paper. And we're going to do kind of the same type of deal. I'm going to make a couple of pockets here. But I've got different things to put inside of them and to decorate the outside. So I'm going to put these 2 pieces down first. And they're just on regular printer paper. They're not thick or anything. And I think I cut them like 3 by 3. All right, so we'll give that a minute. And then to decorate this one, I've got a couple of envelopes out of the kit. And I'm going to ink those. And they're not actual envelopes. They're you know, little fussy pieces that look like envelopes. They're just single little things, and these are printed on a lightweight cardstock. It's not a real heavyweight cardstock by any means. And they're going to be pockets as well. So I'm going to glue those down. Ooh, don't block your pocket. About messed up. Alright, and then to go in those, I've got 2 more little bitty tags out of the kit. Again, I'll put a hole in the top of this one. I think that one goes better than that one. And then I have these 2 little slides that I made. So that's another square. And the slide frames are also by Tracy Fox. And then the little vellum pictures that are on the inside are from Nick the Booksmith. And I just printed them out on vellum so that they look like slides. And you can't really tell what they are, but they both have like a counter with some shelves and dividers in the back. So in my mind, they look kind of like an old-timey post office. So that's what we're going with. And they're going to go in the big pocket. Especially this one. For sure, because it's got the little divider shelves over here. And I know you can't see that. They're not that transparent anyway, but they're kind of cool looking. And they look really good in Tracy's frames. So, now Nick the Booksmith has frames with hers as well. But hers are green and red. And so, that's why I opted to use Tracy's, because they have the colors that go well with the kit. And then I have these 2 little pieces that are left over from where I made my little page edges. And I'm just going to glue those on there for a little additional decoration. And I also just thought of maybe adding I think I may add a couple of these. And I'm sorry I don't remember whose these are. And they don't have a name on them. But I think these kind of look like house numbers. And they're going to bring in a black element. Gotta have two of them. Gotta have two. And I normally do not work in twos. I normally work in odd numbers, but this book is smaller. And if I'd have made 3 pockets on a page, then that would have been so small. So I opted for 2. And I think it looks okay. I'm just thinking that may need that right there. And I kind of wish I'd done a small little notch there. I probably can't get anything in there now. I might could get this one. Well, if I got it in there far enough, I probably could. I don't want it to be too far. Nope. Just a little one. That paper, like I said, is just regular paper, so... Doesn't want to notch too well. There we go. Just so you can kind of tell it's a pocket. Need to clean that up a little bit. Okay. This one I may need to go a little deeper. I'm going to keep on till I mess it up. Yep, that's good. Alright, so let's ink these little pieces. And then we'll glue everything down. I think I'll do that one that way. Be sure not to glue it to my slide. Put that one more towards the bottom. All right, and then just to add a little something to it, I'm going to take a couple of mini paper clips. And I'm going to put in the top of these pockets. And kind of make it look like that little embellishment is being held on with the paper clip. Do I have another one? I'm about out of those, and every time I go to order something, I'm like, oh, I need to order those little paper clips, and I forget. Because I just love them. I think they're so cute to add just a little something extra that doesn't cause a lot of bulk in your journal. Now, because this one does not have a little label under it like this one, let's find one to put under there. So I've got my little tea box here that has all my labels in it, and you can see that they're just all down in here. And I think I have some little bitty ones. This one. Most all of those in there are Tracy Fox labels. I do have some that are Tim Holtz, like the little numbers strips that he has, but most of them are Tracy Fox labels. Let's put that underneath there. Okay, so there's that one. And again, you know, with the little slides in there, I think that's really cute. So I will create one more of these in the third signature that'll have a similar layout to the two we just did, but I don't have it put together, so we won't do it in this video. And that will complete another 3 pages. And yeah, so this one's gonna have you know, plenty of writing space, and it's also, oh, another thing I did, sorry, saw a squirrel, is I took some vintage, these are actually vintage airmail envelopes, and I carefully unglued them, and sewed them in the signatures in the center layouts. So there's one in each signature, and I will do some sort of decorating, but it's going to be very minimal. I don't want to do a lot to them because they're vintage and they're just really cool how they look. But I'll probably make a journal card or something to go on the inside, and then probably, you know, put some stamps with a postmark here or something like that. Some of my real stamps, vintage stamps. But other than that, I think I'm going to leave them. And then I've already, on each of the center layouts, on the other side, have created an uptuck and a tag. And I think 2 of them have uptucks, but I think one of them has a regular bottom pocket because I did the uptuck in a different area in that particular section. Yeah, this one has a pocket on the bottom with the tag because I did the uptuck here in the back. Okay, so that's that. So now I'm going to pause you and change gears a little bit, and I will be back in just a few seconds, and we'll talk about the next challenge. So I hope you stay with me, and I will be back in a few. Hi everyone, I'm back for the announcement of the new challenge. If you hung around to the end, thank you so much. And I am going to quickly go through just kind of what the challenge is. And then if you have any questions, please message me or leave a comment, and I'll be glad to answer them for you. So, like I said in the, when I was working on the color combo challenge, I have done the color combo 1 and 2 for about the last year and a half, and I really have just run out of color combinations or combinations to put together that it's not being repetitive. And if you're like me, once something gets repetitive, it gets old and you're ready to move on and do something else. And I felt like that's where that challenge was going. And so I want to try something a little bit different to finish out this year. And as you can see, it does have a new hashtag. It's hashtag nothing but neutrals. And you can tell by the hashtag kind of what the challenge is going to be. So my plan is, in this series, is to explore how to get a really nice ephemera without using a lot of color. We're going to stick to the 4 basic neutral colors, which are brown, black, white, and gray. And then by adding, you know, lighter tones or darker tones of those 4 colors, or by using different materials, that is how we're going to get our depth in our projects. That's how we're going to get the textures that we want to achieve, layers, the you know, I'm having trouble explaining what I mean by this, but you don't have to have color, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, to express a feeling or to create something that's beautiful, tactile, and really has the depth and layers that you want all your pieces to have. And I'm kind of wanting to dive into that a little more and to see exactly what I can create without turning to color. So this is a lot more comfortable for a lot of journal makers out there, because I think we all tend to have a tendency to kind of go for neutral colors, but it's more than just the lack of color that I'm wanting to kind of explore. It's uh, getting pieces that don't look flat, that don't look like they don't have much effort into them. They don't look like things that we just cut out of a magazine or whatever and put on a piece of paper, because that's not what we want either when we're creating journals. So, what are the rules? It's simple. Every week, I'm going to give you a base. For example, a tag. And that's all I'm going to give you, as far as, what the limits of what you can do are, other than you have to use the neutrals. And you can use anything on that particular base. If you don't have the particular base that we are working on for the particular week, that's fine. I will show you an alternative, or at least give you dimensions, so that you can work on a piece that's the same size as what I'm working on. For example, if I were to choose an index card, not everybody has index cards, but I can tell you an index card is like 3.5 by 5. So you can cut a piece of cardstock or a piece of paper or whatever, as long as it's in a neutral color, and still work with that same size that I'm working on. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So the first thing I'm going to do to get prepared for this is I'm going to make myself a working journal that I can put my ephemera pieces in as I go along. And nothing is going to be, none of the bases are going to be probably over a 4x6. So if you wanted to, and the reason I say 4x6 is because that's usually what I make my journal cards, which would be the biggest thing, that would be in my journals, or maybe an envelope that's 4x6. So if you want to make yourself a journal using neutral pages, don't use any color on your pages either, which is really good, because that means you can use up a lot of your book pages, your coffee dye paper, tea dye paper scraps, ledger paper, if you've got vellum, if you've got digitals, you can use digitals. You can use scrapbook paper. That's all fine. Just try to stick to brown, black, water, gray, or different tones of those. For example, brown, if you add white, you're going to get your tans, you're going to get your off-whites, you're going to get your beiges, you're going to get your, those shades. Black, if you add white, you're going to get, grays, all up into grays. If you use white, again, you can add a little bit of black, you can add a little bit of gray, you can add a little bit of brown. Those are all going to give you different tones. The ideal is you don't want reds, you don't want yellows, you don't want oranges. You don't want those bright, vibrant colors that we have been working on for a year and a half. As far as what can I use, you can use anything you want to. Washies. I've got buttons here that are in neutrals. I've got lace here that are neutrals. I've got distressed crayons that are neutrals. There's inks, there's paints, die cuts in neutrals. I've got some string here. If you've got any kind of string, rope, yarn, anything like that. I've got 2 different kinds of cardboard. They would both work. This is some onion paper, good to go. This is the napkin. You know, that's still neutral. I've got, you know, black and white die cuts. I've got little, like, Scrabble pieces, neutrals, embossed stuff. Another die cut with an interesting edge. You can use your punches. You can use stamps. Any kind of stamps. Fabrics. Any kind of fabrics you have. Coffee dyed papers. There's some ledger. It's very neutral. Here's scrapbook paper. Here's a jelly print. You know, this is like parchment paper. Sewing patterns. More scrapbook paper. I mean, it's endless. Here's an original receipt. That's totally neutral. Here's some more like, excuse me, tracing paper. I couldn't spit it out. Here's a digital, part of a digital. This is kind of a waxy paper. You know, book page. We've all got tons of book page. This is packing paper. This is scrapbook paper. You know, and this is me just barely going through my scrap bin. This is German book page. So, be going through, gathering up your stuff, or getting an idea of what you want to use. And, like I said, I'll give you the base, or a dimension, or instructions on how to make a base. Like we might, I might say a ticket or tickets. In that case, and you don't have any tickets, in that case, then I will show you how to make tickets with what you have. So I hope that sounds interesting and that you're in. Again, the hashtag is going to be hashtag nothing but neutrals. And it will begin, we have 1 more week after this week of the color combo. And it will begin on the following Tuesday. And I will post kind of the general instructions and everything to this hashtag next week, so that you can go back and review and get everything ready. So thanks, guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Everybody have a good evening.